What's up, everybody? Mark Fleetwood here. Welcome back to the Daily Grind Trader. Today, I've got 3 coins for you, all making very similar moves, all that could have massive, massive potentials if things go the way that we think they are. Stick around. I'm going to tell you all about it. Alright guys, let's get the obvious out of the way first. It's the same conversation on every video. I'm not a financial advisor and this is not financial advice. I enjoy sharing my TA, my technical analysis on the internet for everyone to watch, to laugh at, to learn from, whatever the case may be. But this is not financial advice because I have the opportunity to do something that you may not. I can give this video and then something changes in 4 hours from now. I can adjust my lines. I can adjust where I need to be. I can adjust my goals. If you don't know how to do that, you will be boned just watching a video from someone else. My biggest takeaway from this, or my biggest hopeful takeaway from this for you, is to be able to make your own calls, make your own conclusions, and make your own trades profitably, obviously at your own risk. So with that being said, guys, if you have the opportunity, take a look at my Twitter feed. Lots of people on Twitter, especially interacting with me, that are crypto analysts. They enjoy different cryptos, especially if you're big fans of specific coins. You'll have a great community and know who is doing what and talking about what within the communities. Also, if you like the videos, if you find them helpful, if you find them entertaining or valuable in any way, shape, or form, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and then hit the notification bell so you know when I do drop videos. I am not as active as I once was. I still try to get at least 3 videos a week, but I can't guarantee the same days of every week for those 3 days a week. So there's a little bit of sporadic in it, but I do try to keep it to 3 days a week. All right, so what are we looking at? We're going to go to Ravencoin first because, I think Ravencoin is going to become my primary analysis for these videos because it seems to be, where the bulk of my audience enjoys. So Ravencoin, we've talked about Ravencoin already, and it's still well within the pattern that we were looking at before. It was in this consolidation pattern, and this is on the daily chart. And again, we're still very high on the RSI. We're still very close to overbought, so this is going to continue to come down a little bit. Like I said, it doesn't mean it's going to be a dump, and it didn't. It stayed pretty consistent, like just slight little steps down. But we're looking to get to this C phase here. We're looking to get to the 50% retrace, but it's around 11.5 cents, 11.36. I'm hoping for that type of retrace because that will cool off the RSI, that will reset the MACD back to the bottom, and it will give us a launching pad because I think our next move is going to be 55 cent range, 50 to 55 cent range, and I think that could be within 30 to 40 days or so. Like right now, as it sits, and this isn't by any means this isn't meant to be accurate by time frame, but September 28th is right now what I'm looking at. Somewhere in that range, and that's going to shift and move as the price action moves. But I'm hopeful that the C phase of the ABC correction for the 2-wave, because this would be the 2-wave, came down, rebounded a little bit back up, and then will come down further. I'm hoping that'll be done, within the next 2 to 3 days. The 2-wave, or the 4-wave, one of the two correction waves will typically be very short and sharp, and one will be typically long, drawn out, very small moves. So it looks like we're going to be on the long, drawn out, very small moves because it's already been days and days and days. So with that being said, once we get to the top of the 3-wave, if of course this is all playing out correctly, then the 4-wave should be very sharp, very short, 4 days max, 4 to 5 days max, and then back up on the 5-wave, excuse me. But Ravencoin, going into the 4 hour, I'm going to step down a little bit, and I hate that lines typically get lost or redrawn or whatever when you switch time frames. But we had an upward start. We had this little upward momentum for the B wave, and that was coming back. That was typical retrace, down, up, down move. And now we're back over top with the SARs. We're back over top. That means that sell pressure is pushing down. Again, we could have a big bull candle that blows through one of these SARs, and then we'll have to reevaluate from there. We might sit around this 28.6 or 23.6 range for a few hours or a day or two, and then start to fall down. It's hard to tell because this seems like this is a retrace wave that is going to be very drawn out in small movements either way. Again, we have the SAR pushing down. We have the consolidation of the MACD. The MACD is getting really narrow, which to me would indicate that there's going to be a sharp move one way or the other. I believe the sharp move is going to be down briefly. It's going to be a quick sharp move down where we get into some selling pressure, and we might get a large 4 to 5% candle, something, a red candle, something like this, but probably even larger than that. This doesn't show percentages, but regardless, it's going to be a large sell candle, and we'll get back down into that 50% range around 11.3 to 11.5. But if you're looking to trade Ravencoin, I think that is the sweet range. If you can get there, I think that's a sweet range at around 11.35 to 11.5. Now, moving on. That's a quick synopsis of Ravencoin. And I go back to the day. We've got large potential moves coming in. The dips are necessary to get us back down on the launching pad to come back up. You never launch from near the top. Look where we were when the movement first started. We were near the bottom of the RSI, and then we spiked up, You can't start a spike near the top. There's just no room to go. So you got to get back to the bottom. But yeah, we're looking definitely 50 to 55 cents if this plays out to where we are currently in a two-wave. The two-wave is about to finish, and then we will start a three-wave. Next coin is VET. And VET is in a very similar position. You have the VET is a little bit easier to see all 5 impulses of the one wave, which makes me a little bit more confident in VET being on the wavelength that I think it is. One pulse up, 2 pulse down, 3 pulse up, 4 pulse down, 5 pulse up. Now again, even in the impulses, the one wave up, the two wave was very wide and slow. The two wave down, it really did bottom here, but it never really took back off. It didn't really move much. So actually, you know what? We're going to call this the bottom of the two wave here. Call this the bottom of the two wave here. It was a very quick two wave. I apologize. That was misdrawn. And then the three wave was extended. The three wave was extended wide, but it didn't really have the growth of the 1.61%. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm losing focus a little bit. So the three wave isn't always 1.61 times the growth. It could be the time as well. I believe this was 7 days, 12 days, 7 days. Now this had the highest growth rate in percentage wise, but this was the longest wave in the overall length of the wave. So that's something to look out for too. It's not always going to be the same way. But again, we had our ABC correction. A down, B back up, C down. Now this B wave up can be a bull trap. Now people thought that this is going to come back up and you're going to retest new highs. And I tried to caution against that you have the ABC correction phase. And again, we are now back to SAR pressure over the top on the 4 hour. Selling pressure down. We had a big sell candle here. It should come down, and we're looking at roughly, say 10.5 cents to call it an easy call. 10.5 cents down to 10 cents even. You might be able to get a wick down to the 61.8 line, but the 10.13, 10 cent line would be where I would call the bottom, to easily grab. So this is what I'm going to call as likely. This is going to be possible. I hope that makes sense. Likely drop down here. This is the most likely to occur, and then this is a possibility. Honestly, if we're looking at just pure possibility, it is possible for it to go all the way down to the 7.869 and go down to 7.5 cents. I highly doubt that to be the case, but it is possible. We'll put this back on the daily chart for VET. Again, these lines start to get a little messy once you get to the daily, or when you change time frames. We're still looking at 10 cents, 10 to 10.5 cents. You see we've had big moves up. And the cool thing with VET is that VET has huge three-wave potential, probably the biggest overall potential for the three-wave, because it was actually the biggest potential was Ravencoin, because it was 100 or 260% one wave, and this is 150% one wave. So that means that we're looking for the three-wave of about 35 cents for VET, and this again, time-wise, is unknown. Time frame is unknown. I'm putting it out to about the end of September because I'm looking at the total time frame of the one wave was 26 days. So I'm looking at about 40 days for the three wave, or 38 days for the three wave. So somewhere around the end of September, I think is where the three wave will top. But again, this could shoot up very quickly and be a 15-day three-wave that goes almost straight up, goes parabolic, or could it be a long, drawn-out 45-day three-wave that only gets up to 25 cents? We're looking at potential here, and we're kind of going into uncharted territory. But again, the current state of where we're at on these charts, it's looking very clear to me that we've finished a one wave on many coins and are getting to the end of our two wave. This looks like a classic two wave pattern, the ABC. And then again, the B typically goes 75% retrace, 75 to 90% back up towards the top. This was 74% on VET. And then the last coin I'm going to talk about that also had this almost identical move is EOS. EOS retraced 76%. And now it's looking like it's going to come down again to the 50% line and again be a blast off. There's potential for multiple coins to have very, very strong moves coming up by the middle of next week. I'm talking by Wednesday, Thursday, we could be bottomed out and looking for huge potential moves going in the upward direction. Do not be surprised if you see a 25th, 26th, 27th evening star or morning star. Big sell pressure down, a day of no movement, a doji, a spinning top, or whatever you want to call it, and then a big swing up. You get the sell down, followed by indecision, followed by buying pressure close to equal to the sell pressure, and then you get into the big rise in price. The last time we had that wave, this was a wave here. We had this huge wave up. A, B, C correction. The bottom of the correction, sell pressure down, indecision, buy pressure up, and look at that wave. Look at where that wave went. So don't be surprised to see a morning star at the end of a correction. So you're looking at the potential for seeing the phases, knowing that we finished the one wave, we're in the two wave. When does the two wave end? You have your Fibonacci levels to look at. You have candle patterns. It might not be a morning star. It might be a hammer. It might be a hammer that just stops down pressure dead in its tracks. And you get this big wick down, and then it buys right back up and turns into a green candle. You get a hammer, and let's see if I can find one here for you. I don't have one readily available. But something like this sells down low, buys back up, and it's either red or green, it doesn't matter, but a very small body, long wick down, typically buying pressure off of that. Now, this one didn't last long, but generally after a retrace, that would be what you would get. Look for Morningstar, look for a hammer, look for confirmation with both the Fibonacci levels, with the timing, and with the candlestick pattern, and that should be confirmation to get where you need to be for a successful and safe trade. I'm being honest, I haven't been in the market at all since I sold BTC and sold Raven. I sold Raven for 100% profit, and I sold BTC for like 170% profit on 10x leverage. It was like 210%. It was a 21% gain, and I had it on 10x leverage, so it was like 210%. That was my month. That got me up to the $500 I'm starting with now. So it looks like I will not make a trade complete in August. I started in July, completed one in August. I will probably start a trade on one of these 3 coins, if not all 3 coins, at the end of this week, and likely September complete that trade, depending on where we're at. So guys, that's the video. Again, please like if you like, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and as always, until next time, peace.